Hello and welcome to week 4 of Our Lady of Joy's Lenten Retreat. My name is David Linz. I am the Director of Faith Formation here at the parish, and I'm so glad that you're still with me. The last 2 weeks we talked a lot about what you expose your soul to, and this week we're talking about the interior life. And what I mean by that, put real simply, is the ingredients you put in your blender matter. Okay, if you're putting garbage in the blender, the smoothie is gonna be horrible. So the last 2 weeks we talked about those ingredients, but now we're getting into the blender. We're getting into the heart of things. We're gonna talk about opinions, thoughts, goals, and prayer. But we're gonna do it real fast this week. I hope you don't mind. I just want to be really honest with you this week and just kind of open my heart to you. We've probably all met someone in our life, and I'm not giving any names because it's not about kicking dirt, but we've all met somebody over the course of our life where we met them and we just thought, wow, that is a beautiful person. Like, that's just somebody who's probably spent time in front of a camera at some point in their lives. And that's the first 3 seconds, right? That's already in your brain. You're just like, wow, they're just perfect hair, perfect smile, perfect cling, kind of thing that I don't have. But man, there are people who are just beautiful people, right? And then some of them, you get to know them. And after a little while, they don't look quite as beautiful anymore. The interior has somehow infected how you see the exterior. It comes out. They don't have the little smile lines because they don't smile very often. Maybe they have, frowny face all the time, as I tell my 3.5-year-old. But most of all, it's just the interior coming out. On the other hand, I've met people who I met, and they were fine. They were part of the us crowd. They were people who look okay. They're probably not going to be on the cover of GQ or whatever, but and then you get to know them, and slowly, over time, you get to know their heart. You get to know their opinions, their thoughts, their goals, what they pray for. And they just begin to radiate beauty. They're stunners. This is what happens. This is how it works. The interior makes its way out. It's interesting when you look at Mark 7:23, our faith tells you this. All evils come from inside and defile a person. It's true. Our faith challenges us to be more than just the exterior. It also matters what's on the inside. So your opinions on things matter. Even if you don't express them, they matter to God and they matter to the world. They matter to your soul. Your thoughts. What do you spend your time lingering on? Your goals. What do you want, and to what end does it serve? Is it all for you? Is it all that you want to level up? It's like those video games where you try so hard to get to the next level, and then you get to that level, and then it's like, oh, well, I'm at the bottom again. Now I need to get to the next level. Because if that's what your life is based on, you're going to be frustrated for life. So many of us, and it's kind of human nature, and we have to fight it with God's grace. So many of us think, when I get to high school, then I'm going to be grown up and cool, and I'll be able to drive and maybe date or whatever. And sorry to you families who've told your kids they can't date till they're 40, but whatever the case may be, it's like when you're in junior high, you just can't wait to be in high school. Then you get in high school, and what happens? It's college. And then what happens when you graduate from college? It's that dream job. Or maybe it's that car that you always wanted, or maybe it's home ownership, or maybe it's, for a lot of people, it's getting married. And then you get married and but we don't have a kid yet. And then you have a kid and it starts to turn into like a bigger house or a better car or eventually retirement or grandchildren or this, that, or the other thing, and you never get there. What about changing the goals to something that is going to last a lot longer than you will? About helping other people and about glorifying the Lord. Getting other people to heaven. That's eternal consequences, right? You bring somebody to church. You invite someone to church. And now their children are raised in that environment and their grandchildren are raised in that environment. And it's just this effect of roots that just keep spreading and dividing and spreading and dividing that you were able to do, and it continues long after you're gone. What do you pray for? When you wake up in the morning, what do you pray for? I may or may not have said early on in this process that when your heart is in conformity with the law, there is no law. Okay, so there's less commandments, essentially, that apply to you the more you get yourself right with God. And the same is true when it comes to your prayers. Your prayers slowly begin to morph more and more into, Lord, if it's your will, blank. You move away from treating God like a cosmic vending machine who needs to just jump as soon as you tell him to. It starts to morph into you recognizing who he is and who you are. And then he, in all eternity, might know more than you do in however many years you've been alive. And that humility is not a bad thing, it's a wonderful thing. 1 Peter 3:3-4 says, your beauty should not come from outward adornment, such as elaborate hairstyles or the wearing of gold jewelry or fine clothes. Rather, it should be that of your inner self, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is of great worth in God's sight. I'm going to read that last line again. Your beauty should be that of your inner self. That's key. The unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is great in God's sight. So if we can cut the faucet from pouring bad stuff in, which we talked about the last 2 weeks, it's going to be a lot easier to clean up all the stuff inside. And that's what we're talking about this week, and hopefully you're already seeing that if you've been working on the things that I talked about the last 2 weeks. Hopefully you're seeing that it's a little bit easier to pray with the heart of God, to make your goals holy and worthy, to have thoughts of good things and holy things instead of stressful things and anxiety-producing things. See, this is a process that works naturally. You do those things that I told you about the last 2 weeks. You get to confession, you clean things up, and all of a sudden the inside starts looking a lot better. It starts reflecting God a lot better, which is what we're supposed to do as Christians, as followers of Christ. And then it's exciting because what happens next is what flows out of us. When you fill up the cup with good things, what overflows is good. That's what we're going to talk about next week in week 5. Your exterior legacy as a follower of Christ. I hope you come back for one more week, and then after that you come back for one more week, and then you come back until we get to Holy Week. But it has been an honor and privilege to be with you again. Until next week, God bless you. God bless your Lent.